Live via satellite from the Holt Center for the Performing Arts in Eugene, Oregon, the Album Network presents Jackson Browne in concert. Tonight's show is brought to you by Payless Shoes, Carefree Sugarless Gum, and Citibank. Hello there, I'm Cynthia Fox, and it has been a stunning spring day in the usually rainy Eugene. Today it was clean, crisp, and clear. In fact, the folks here are almost giddy from too much sun. Coming up tonight, we're going to hear Jackson do favorites like The Pretender and Boulevard and Running on Empty, plus lots of tunes from the new album I'm Alive, including the enchanting Everywhere I Go, about how falling in love can sometimes make you goofy. And later on, we're going to hear the powerful Sky Blue and Black, a song about saying goodbye to a relationship, but not goodbye to the love that was there. You know, what's always impressed me about Jackson Browne is that in the world of rock and roll, overflowing with posers and large personas, Jackson's a regular guy. He feels like a member of the family, you know, always willing to share his feelings and experiences, and in doing so, helping us all feel a little less alone and a little more connected to each other. His dedication to his art and the craft of songwriting, of getting to the true center of a feeling, is inspiring, and he's singing for the poet in us all. Now, his return to the personal themes on his new album does not mean he has abandoned the political. He continues to do scores of benefit concerts, and on this tour, he invites a local political group from each town to set up a table at his shows, and tonight it's the Northwest Environmental Advocates, for example. And, of course, I'd like to send out a special message to all the women listening tonight. Yes, girls, he's looking cute. At soundcheck, he was wearing a long white T-shirt and jeans, and it was dreamy. Well, okay, now, before Jackson Browne hits the stage, we have got part of an extensive interview Jackson did with the hirsute and always astute Redbeard of Q102 in Dallas and the host of the nationally syndicated show In the Studio. And you'll also hear a great solo acoustic performance of the song Two of Me, Two of You when we come back on the Album Network.
I got to give you congratulations on the warm reception for the new album I'm Alive, because
Thank you.
Everything that I've read and everybody that I've talked to that's heard the album, I mean, they're pretty unanimous, glowing comments.
Yeah, the response has been good. It hasn't been unanimous, as a matter of fact. I happened to read like a fairly resounding pan of the album, but not only the album, of me and my entire,
your existence.
My existence, exactly. Which I thought that's the way you want it. If someone hates me, like, they've always hated me, you know. Yeah, as opposed to people who love you saying, this just doesn't make it.
Right.
But for me, yeah, that more importantly is that the songs themselves work for me, and they do something for me just to sing them. So I'm having a great time touring, because I mean, it's good. It's really good to get acceptance and get a positive response. But what really works is if the songs speak to something really essential that you need to get out, and then it just does you good to sing them.
Yeah,
and that'll carry you.
What's implied by the title of the new album, I'm Alive?
Well, it started as the only song title that I could use, and I was also thought of Sky Blue and Black. I thought that's just too moody. That's kind of like it's too moody a title, and my son Ethan was saying, "Oh, you always call it after a song title. Why don't you just break your own tradition and call it something, a one-word title of anything?" That got really hard. That's like I thought of a lot of things, and there were a lot of joke titles, while we were making the record. My working title was "This Better Be Good," and Scott at one point said, "Well, I know what you could call it. You can call it The Agony and the Agony."
That's good too.
But in the end, I think it literally came down to a call on a Sunday morning from my record company president saying, "Okay, time's up. What's it called? We're printing this thing tomorrow." And so I mean, it's for want of a better title, but actually it's starting to grow on me, and I like it.
Let me throw you a slow change up here. When did you write your first song? And maybe more importantly, why?
I think I wrote my first song because I was singing in a coffee house and that a bunch of people were hanging around in. A friend of mine's father started this coffee house in Long Beach, California, and we were hanging around there. It was just this big empty sort of warehouse building, and I was singing there, and all my friends were my friends were writing songs, and I was in high school, and I was about 15. At one point, I just wrote this song that was kind of a goof. I think it was kind of like a Jesse Fuller song, like San Francisco Bay Blues, or it was sort of like, you know, I think it was called Happy Woman Blues or something like that, about this, you know, about this woman that, I mean, it's pretty dumb.
No,
but this woman, she's so happy. The only time she's happy is when she's, you know, walking over me or something. It's just very sort of folky, kind of like, and it was like, you know, it's early 60s. But after that, I began writing songs for specific people I knew and for girls. I wrote a song. There was a song called Renee, a song called Marianne, a song called, you know, all these different girls I knew. But because and really that's why I began being able to, you know, say what I felt and what I was, you know, feeling in a song. I did it partly because all my friends were doing this, you know, and partly because it was sort of it was the only outlet I had, really.
30 years later, are your reasons for writing now that much different?
No, they're not.
Isn't it interesting?
And there are times when if you allow the fact that you do this for a living to sort of encroach on your real reasons for writing, you know, it just sort of plugs everything up and keeps it from really happening right. And you might write some things in. It's hard to be happy with, you know. I mean, you write because you have a deadline, you know, and that's not. I can live with that. Finally, after all these years, I've sort of realized that deadlines are not so bad for me. You know, I wanna, you know, sell records and have money and stuff, you know. I mean, so all that, you know, goes without saying, you know. But I mean, the real reason, the real impulse you have in writing a song is to sort of illuminate something that's going on inside, or to get it out in the open where I myself can see it. It's not like I have a huge inventory of all this stuff that I'm burning to tell everybody. I'm just more. I'm really interested in knowing myself what's going on, you know, on the inside. There are two of me and two of you, two who have betrayed love and two who have been true, and together we went crashing through every bond and vow and faith we knew, me and the fool I've been, and the two of you. Of the two of me, one always knew that I would always love you, whatever you might do. And the more unfree and troubled you grew, I could feel the whole world splitting in two, trying to make the room for the two of you. So like a fragile little child, more than a little lost and wild, how the light would leave the sky when you cry and return again when you smile, and how the light would invade and divide the darkness I have inside. There were two of me and two of you, searching for a passageway hidden from our view, and together we went crashing through every bond and vow and faith we knew, me and the fool I've been, and the two of you, and the two of you, and the two of you.
And And that was an Album Network exclusive, Jackson Browne's acoustic version of Two of Me, Two of You. Thanks to Redbeard for the interview. And I loved hearing about the joke titles of the album. This better be good. And I tell you, it is. Well, you know, it's just about showtime, so stay tuned for Jackson Browne live in concert on the Album Network.